There's Vista's on camera. I love it.
It's at 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start policy committee on 6:01. All right, so let's see here. Volunteer assistance procedures. I'm assuming annual report.
Did you put the application? Okay.
Yeah. But did we get all the way through 4,600? I think we were like towards the end.
We were going back and forth.
Oh yeah, we were going back and forth.
That's right. Okay.
That's the draft application that you asked me to put together so we were uniform.
Okay. No, there was
I think we were going back and forth between the policy and the procedure, maybe, to make sure that.
Well, that's the application. Okay. I think we were stuck here. Or, I mean, we weren't stuck. We were here. Okay, I think we're down to duties and responsibilities. Okay, do we want to go through the procedures again? I mean, start from the top so we know what we were.
That would be good, just to refresh our memories.
Alright, so the district supports and encourages volunteers in our schools. Volunteers work in cooperation with schools to help in meeting the needs of children and the school staff. The final decision to accept or reject a volunteer application rests exclusively with the superintendent. The following procedural guidelines are set with regard to volunteers. Potential volunteer applicants must complete the district's volunteer application, complete the fingerprinting process at the district office.
I did get clarification.
Okay.
People can go to Rathdrum Police Department to get their fingerprints, but they still have to bring them here.
Okay.
And have us send them in. So it's probably just easier for them to, I would take that off and just have them come to us because we can do the fingerprinting digitally.
Okay, thank you. Complete a criminal background check. Any applicant who falsifies information or does not disclose prior criminal background, oopsies, will not be eligible to volunteer. And that's the end of that. Okay. Volunteer requirements. When acting in the capacity of a volunteer, the district requires the following. Volunteers shall work with students in the areas designated by school staff. Volunteers shall treat all students equally. Volunteers shall not promote religious doctrines or beliefs, political candidates or parties, or commercial products. Volunteers must refer disciplinary issues to the student's teacher. Volunteers shall not be in possession of or under the influence of alcohol or illegal substances, and volunteers shall not smoke, use tobacco products, or vape on school grounds or supervised trips. Okay. Background checks. The district shall conduct, at the volunteer's expense, a state criminal records check on all volunteers who have contact with students on a regularly scheduled and or continuing basis, or who have supervisory responsibility for children at a school site or on school-sponsored trips. No volunteer shall be utilized to supervise students until the volunteer has undergone the required background check and received approval from the principal. Okay. The only reason I paused is I know up here we hit it hard that you're the ultimate authority. The final decision.
So if I guess the way I read that is if a principal gets, well, the way the background checks work by law, I think right now in our office, Brooke and Olivia are the only two who can actually view the reports because they're there are classes you have to take and then
Mhm.
tests that you have to pass in order to have access to it. So when our parent volunteers do the background check, the report will go to HR department, and then Brooke will have to advise the principal as to whether or not it came back in a positive light. She can't share that report with the principal.
Okay.
So we might need to have something in there about that.
Okay, so
Maybe it's after receiving background information from the district or from the superintendent. I mean, the principal can't give that approval until she gets that information. Or gets the, yes, they passed.
no, I get that, but this is the first time we're including the principal, where in the beginning, it seems as if the sole responsibility of approval or denial is on the superintendent, which I hear what you're saying through the processes, that the district office is delegating to the principal, yes or no.
Well, if we're staying with that, I know all I was saying was if the principal's going to weigh in first, as far as like it's an easy one for the principal to be able to approve them when everything comes back clean. But if there are questions, then that probably needs to come to me. But the background check is going to come to me, not to the principal.
The principal's one relaying information to the volunteer. It's not the district office contacting them.
Correct. I would reach out to Lisa and let her know.
Or maybe just say, the volunteer has undergone the required background check and received approval from the superintendent. The volunteer will be contacted by
Building principal.
the building principal.
What if we just say it has received approval?
But if this is the procedures, I think it has to be spelled out so the principals know how the approval process is going to work.
Alright, so
that's gonna be decided before the principal's contacted. So these people can volunteer. So that's all gonna come out before it even goes to the principal.
maybe let's reword this. It should be a new paragraph. Do you get what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to let them know what the steps are. So the district receives notice once the background check has been completed. It's not a full, okay. Just okay. So, because I knew I was leaving out a step, but so the district will receive notice once the background check has been completed. The principal will receive direction from the district and notify the volunteer of their eligibility for volunteering. The background check reveals evidence of convictions, findings from a court of law, or findings from a disciplinary board. The applicant will not be recommended. Actions deemed unacceptable for volunteers include, but are not limited to, the following: convicted of any crimes against persons, found to have sexually assaulted a minor, sexually abused a minor, exploited a minor, physically abused a minor, sexually assaulted a current or prior spouse, physically abused a current or prior spouse, distributed illegal substances to a minor, contributed to the delinquency of a minor. I think, though, we're not saying, you know, they've distributed illegal substances to
Anybody?
Anybody. Yes.
So let's do this. Okay. Found to have distributed illegal substances.
Yeah, just pay them.
Okay. Alright. If a criminal background check reveals a conviction or pending charge which substantially relates to the nature of the position in which the applicant failed to disclose as required on the district application form, the application for volunteer assignment shall be rejected.
So that specific question is not on the application, so I need to fix that.
If the criminal background check confirms a conviction or pending charge which the applicant acknowledged on the application form, a determination shall be made by the superintendent whether or not to reject the application based upon a consideration of the circumstances of the conviction or pending charge, and whether the circumstances substantially relate to the nature of the particular position for which the applicant has applied.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of words. But we could eliminate the last half. Just state that acknowledged the determination is made by the superintendent. What do you think, Lisa? I know you were adding. Well, this is an extremely long sentence, so we could technically eliminate this portion. Because we're saying the determination's made by you.
Mm-hmm. Would you keep whether or not to reject the application and stop it there? The determination shall be made by the superintendent.
Well, if the criminal background check confirms a conviction or pending charge upon which the applicant acknowledged on the application form, a determination shall be made by the superintendent whether or not to reject the application. Yeah, we
Just feels like it's
cut there
missing a little bit.
and leave off based upon.
Supervision, all volunteers shall provide assistance only under the direct supervision of an employee of the district. If a volunteer is inappropriately dressed, the volunteer shall be required to remedy their attire before volunteering with students. If a volunteer is injured while on school premises or while providing volunteer services, the volunteer shall report this injury to the building principal as soon as possible. If a volunteer jeopardizes the security or safety of a facility or office, the volunteer shall be terminated as a volunteer. If a volunteer uses inappropriate language or makes derogatory comments to a student, the volunteer shall be terminated as a volunteer. Okay.
Would it have to be just to students or a student to the staff? Or staff?
Well, the problem with staff is if a staff uses inappropriate language or derogatory comments towards a volunteer, are we terminating them? I mean, that's where I'm thinking, because I mean, if people are bantering or thinking they're playing,
I don't know if that was,
but yeah,
but
we
definitely
didn't
towards
really-
students. I just,
absolutely towards students.
and maybe that's, well, it's just towards students.
The relationship between schools and volunteers. When arriving at school during regular school hours, volunteers will sign in and be issued a badge. School staff will be courteous to volunteers and show respect for their contributions. Likewise, volunteers will be expected to extend courtesy and respect to school staff. Any issues that may arise will be referred to the building principal. The superintendent shall develop orientation materials to be provided to all volunteers who have contact with students on a regularly scheduled or continuing basis. Each school should thoroughly orientate volunteers. Yeah, each school should thoroughly orientate.
I don't think orientate
Each
is actually
school
a
should
word.
hold volunteer orientations for something along orientation training for volunteers.
What was my word that I was thinking?
Orientate is.
But what orientate is,
I don't think that's even an
it's
actual
not a
word.
correct
It
use.
is in my vocabulary.
Each school
It is
should.
too.
It's British.
It's a verb. I'm British. It's a verb though. Could be a noun too.
But-
who knows?
But in this, orientate is more a directional, as far as like you're going this way or that way, versus orient is to get them in the right frame of what they're doing. I know that it's a correct use. I think orientation training for volunteer orientation.
So each school shall hold volunteer orientation prior to assigning volunteer duties to volunteers. Does that sound fair? Okay.
Orientation would cover.
Actually, it's
ABCD.
each school shall hold volunteer orientation on the following. That's what it is. On the following volunteer guidelines. Orientation shall be scheduled with flexibility to accommodate applicants' availability. Okay. Yeah. So that's not really a 4. That's just
Yeah, 3 or 4 there.
it's just a sentence. Okay. Duties and responsibilities. Here we are. A volunteer's assignment shall be limited to assisting staff members with duties such as routine tutorials, clerical, housekeeping, and material preparation tasks. The assignment shall be limited to situations which may be supervised by a certified staff person. In some instances, volunteers may perform clerical and material preparation tasks away from school site. Volunteers with special talents, hobbies, or experiences may share those with students on a scheduled basis in a suitable educational setting. Volunteers will not discuss the performance or actions of students except with the student's teacher, counselor, or principal. Why would they be discussing?
They shouldn't be.
Well,
I mean,
except
I would
that-
say with the teacher,
Right,
but
yeah,
not with the
they-
rest of the
they-
world.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they wouldn't take it to a counselor.
Okay, so I guess up here we're saying that all volunteers
What is that?
I have no idea what it's doing.
It's malfunctioning.
shall provide assistance only under the direct supervision of an employee of the district. Down here we're saying that employee has to be certified, which means that, like, paras can't be overseeing volunteers. So this probably means wordsmithing. So a volunteer's assignment shall be limited to assisting staff members with duties such as routine tutorials, clerical, housekeeping, and material preparation tasks. The assignment shall be limited to situations which may be supervised.
You could just take out certificate and just put a staff person. It doesn't happen very often that they're being supervised by a non-certified person, classified person. But, I mean, they could be in the office making copies, and at that point, it's the admin
Yeah,
assistant.
and then certified.
Right, exactly. But most of them prefer to work in a classroom, so.
Mm-hmm.
We have had people who volunteer to help in title,
Mm-hmm.
which may be working
Which
with the
would
parent,
still be overseen by the.
but they could be working directly with the parent.
In some instances, volunteers may perform clerical and material preparation tasks away from the school site.
AKA at home.
Right. Volunteers with special talents. Okay, students scheduled basis, suitable educational setting. Volunteers will not discuss the performance or actions of students except with the student's teacher. Additional specific areas in which a volunteer may be used are as follows: reading stories to students, assisting and supervising the loading and unloading of buses, helping learning centers, computer labs, libraries, cafeterias, offices, etc.
Do we actually need that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why we're identifying this. This is procedures. So
I don't think we need it because.
Well, it's up here, it says routine tutorial, but, clerical housekeeping. Some of these are kind of outside of that, like, you know, loading and unloading buses, so you're supervising kids getting onto the bus, you're.
Right, this is the procedure, this isn't an all, like an exhaustive list.
Yeah,
so,
it can't be.
Right, so I just don't know why we need to identify what specific tasks might be in the policy, because those are things that are just, that.
what if instead of
We know what
Such
those possibilities
as-
are, but do we have to spell them out?
Exactly.
instead of that, so a volunteer's assignment shall be limited to assisting staff members with duties
principal and staff.
What's that?
Determined by the principal and staff.
In collaboration with the parent.
Mm.
Sometimes I need a parent who's gonna sit and work with my kiddos on some math, and the parent feels like I can't do that, so we can find something else to do.
Best use of everyone's time.
Exactly.
But I mean, who's determining?
It's really a collaboration between the parent and the teacher or the staff member. I had some parents who just wanted to come in and make copies for the teacher, and then I have others who just want to work with kids. So it's just kind of knowing.
Is that fair?
Or I just would say, or a staff member, because I think we've already said it doesn't have to be a certified.
District staff. I don't think we need this part right here.
No, because we've already set up
We have.
above that they aren't going to be unsupervised.
The bottom part, supplement and not be a substitute.
That's what it I think we need to take that away. Just because if we're minimizing how we're micromanaging, then we're just going to take that out. They might do something away from the school side. Okay, this volunteers with special habit, talents, hobbies, and experiences may share this with students on a scheduled basis in a suitable educational setting. Alright. Volunteers will supplement and enrich programs and services in the district, but will not substitute for employee activities and functions.
Well,
What does that even mean? What does it
will
say?
not be a substitute.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be better wording?
For
Be a
employees.
substitute for employee activities or functions. So, which, I mean, you're already saying they're being supervised.
So they're
they
not
could-
supplanting.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would add in be
Yes.
or be
So
a.
volunteers will
Will not be
supplement
a.
and enrich programs and services in the district, but will not be a substitute for employee activities and functions.
Basically, I think what.
They're not going to sub in for the teacher and teach the class.
Right.
Right. So.
Or maybe employee-led activities and functions.
Can't you just stop with the district? Volunteers will supplement and enrich programs and services in the district.
And then assuming
A supplement
is not supplant.
Words matter.
Let's eat grandpa. Okay, although the district is not limited to the reasons below, a volunteer can be terminated for the following: breach of confidentiality concerning students or other privileged information, unlawful conduct or breach of district rules and regulations, physical and or emotional stress upon or which incapacitates the volunteer, inability to cooperate and work effectively with site staff and students. Activities that threaten the order or security of the site or the safety of the volunteer, erratic and unreliable attendance or behavior, unsatisfactory service, sexual misconduct, providing falsified information on the application, establishing, but they wouldn't be terminated for that, they just wouldn't be hired.
Right. Well, if maybe something came out later, maybe that's what that's trying to cover.
Well, then that would mean the criminal background check didn't do its job. Unless it means that there was, no, that wouldn't be falsified information. I'm thinking of a crime after the fact.
That would be Also
That's
by
like,
community,
yeah,
yeah.
appropriate relations. Youth served, yeah, criminal charges. Okay,
Can we go back to 5? Activities that threaten the order or security of the site or the safety of the volunteer. What about
I'm
the site?
going back to here.
Safety of the of the students. There.
Okay, so a volunteer can be terminated for the following. Which incapacitates the volunteer. That's just bizarre. Inability to cooperate and work effectively. Okay, activities that threaten the order or security of the site or the safety of the volunteer.
What about the safety of the kids?
What are we even saying in that sentence?
Well, maybe break it into 2 and say threatens, activities that threaten the safety of students, activities that threaten the order or security of the site. That's like you're kind of creating havoc or chaos. And, we're not able to, we're not, well, we're just, you break into kind of the routines of the classroom or the general routines of the school, and that creates problems. Or you do something that's not safe. I would break that into 2. Rather than cram it all into 1.
So I could just put that back. Activities that threaten the safety of students, staff, or the volunteer. Activities that threaten the order or security of the educational environment. We need to talk about that.
Maybe routine. That would be better. One thing, order.
I think order is okay because it's just. I'm just thinking of some of the people that Lynn dealt with, even out on the playground, who would be out there, yelling and cursing at kids. It's kind of the order. So.
How about instead of order, the sanctity or
Security.
security?
Oh, that's sanctity. I do like that word.
Probably be taken differently by
Yeah. It just sends a sense of calm through your body when you hear that word.
Sanctity or security of the educational environment.
Love it.
Eradicate or eradicate. Okay, whatever. Erratic or unreliable attendance or behavior. Do we really have erratic attendance? I get behavior. I think it should be erratic behavior or unreliable.
Unreliable attendance or erratic behavior.
Unsatisfactory service. Who's determining that? And what is that?
All of the above.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that you need that because
all of that is unsatisfactory service.
right, but you could have a parent who really wants to help, kids with math or reading or whatever, but then you find that they're not really very good at that.
right.
You don't terminate them for that.
Right.
You would find
Move a
something
different.
else to do.
Move
Yeah.
something else.
So.
Sexual misconduct, establishing inappropriate relationships with youth served. What does that mean?
Well, we had a grandpa,
Oh,
a innkeeper,
Uh-oh.
who was coming to volunteer in his grandson's classroom, but was actually coming to build a relationship with a young lady who he then invited to his home without parent approval.
I don't know what is going on with me.
So
Yeah.
that definitely happened, and we had to get law enforcement involved actually and find out. We wanted to see what's going.
Inappropriate relationships with youth served.
students,
I-
inappropriate relationships with students, which is
Thank you. Yes, I would. Dying here, people. Oh, you're so
You
strong.
loosened it for me.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thankfully it doesn't happen very often, but it has happened.
Yeah, people are stupid.
Remember that?
But we all just,
Mm-hmm.
something's not right, something's not right,
Yeah.
something's not right.
Yeah. With students, let me see students.
Would it be students or staff? Just students? Okay. And criminal charges or conviction of a crime.
Maybe new or because again that background check is going to eliminate all those maybe newly leveled criminal charges or convictions.
After application approval?
Mm-hmm.
A volunteer may be asked to terminate his or her services when, in the judgment of the administrator, circumstances necessitate termination.
Didn't you already say that up above? I mean, that's what that whole paragraph is about.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteer can be terminated for the following.
Right, but what this is saying is that, by the way, we might just ask you to terminate yourself, which I think is a dumb phrasing, but
I wonder what the additional circumstances would be that would necessitate
I don't know.
termination outside of the 12 we've already listed, are the
Yeah, because I would
Here,
think
the verbiage is right there is that you may be asked. We're asking you not to come back versus we're telling you because this happened. Why would we, if those any of those things that happened?
we would just
Why
say,
would we
sorry,
ask
but
you?
you're not able to come and work as a volunteer.
so. We're not asking them to terminate it; we're terminating them. I mean, because it's not.
Would there be an instance that we would ask them to please not come back?
Outside of those.
Outside these, it wouldn't be a please if we cannot have you come back because of these reasons. Versus, we're asking you to please not.
Okay, but on what grounds?
What grounds would we do that on? I don't know.
Right, and how? I mean, we would have to tread very cautiously with that because that could.
I feel like what's up above covers a lot of things, the reasons that somebody would be uninvited from volunteering. You can't even think of an example. The inability to cooperate and work effectively with staff and students. That's the one that.
Probably the one that you might be asked. Versus the others are definitely no.
Exactly.
What did you say? The inability.
It's already up there.
Number one, the breach.
No.
Or no.
4 is already up there. That would have been the only thing that I could think of.
Okay. 2. I get it.
Volunteer to be asked.
Actually, see, and I hate the word terminate. I feel like that is aligned with employment.
Especially if they're being
dismissal
asked.
seems more appropriate.
Well,
maybe ask not to.
Their ability to volunteer would be remote, is what we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Versus if we're asking them because they're not super cooperative, or they're just, we can't seem to find a good niche for them. The volunteer may be asked to discontinue their services. Due to specific circumstances. Okay, then just take out the termination, because we're not really terminating if we're asking them. Right. We're trying to agree with them that you're not happy, and what we're asking you to do seems to be not quite within what you want to do. So this isn't a good relationship. But how do we say that? We put that politely on paper. Dismissed. I like the word dismissed.
That's exactly what it says up there, so do we actually need that sentence?
No, I was gonna take it out, cause I figure it's a nice closing paragraph.
Okay.
A nice closing statement. Just the bottom line is if we all can't play nice in the sandbox, you can't come play with us. That's it.
The other 9 or however many are up there are kind of bigger,
Bigger
bigger
issue.
behaviors, right?
Bigger issue.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, how do we feel this is? But I took out the terminating, because that just seems inappropriate. So we're going to dismiss them. Okay. No, you can't do that anymore. You're being dismissed. Yeah. Okay.
Still get to be a parent.
Right.
Be a parent volunteer.
So over here, we had highlighted these because those are actually on the procedures. So we're going to take those out. So volunteer assistant superintendent, shelters for developing and okay. Okay. This is irrelevant. And we're done. Yep. Okay.
And then do you want to make reference in the policy to the application?
Oh yeah, we can. So we should do this. School volunteer application, should it be district? Let's go. Oopsies.
Just go with I can change the title so it just says volunteer application.
Yeah. Provide tremendous benefit to the students. The school district, all prospective volunteers are asked to complete this application. False information will result in immediate suspension of the privilege to be a school volunteer.
Do we wanna change that so it says what the others say?
Yeah.
Will result in immediate dismissal. Or just immediate dismissal. We'll do this as a fillable form, but
Yeah. No, I get that. So parents, name, address, and email.
so can I ask real quick, Mary, when I went through, all 6 applications and there were some similarities, but, definitely some differences, and a couple of them they wanted the parents' birth date. Is there a reason to ask for, or the volunteers' birth dates?
Would we need that to, I don't know, kind of as a second supporting document as far as the background check kind of thing?
Well, they have to provide.
I know they have to provide all that, but I don't know that on the application itself, they have to
figure out why we would want that birthday.
sometimes it's just like
I didn't like the word other, so I changed it to community.
I saw that.
I
I just copied from the other applications and tried to mesh them.
I think that's one of those pieces of information that people just ask for automatically, and yet it's like, it's a none of business.
Exactly. I just couldn't figure out a use for that, so I left it off.
Yeah, I would leave it off. I can't just, like you say, the whole background check is going to cover all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
School has many opportunities. Why is that highlighted?
So JBE.
Okay, so we're going to specify for the school. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the same.
Has opportunities for you to get involved in helping educate our children. Your help is much needed and greatly appreciated. Please take a moment to fill out this form and return it to the office. The form is needed for each volunteer. Okay.
Should be required.
Yep. These 2 sentences are driving me crazy. I think
Probably not even necessary. Thank you so much for participating.
so. Then, if we take that and put it up at the top, so we're telling them many opportunities for you to get involved in helping educate our children. Your help is much needed and greatly appreciated. All prospective volunteers are asked to complete this application. false information will result in immediate dismissal. Volunteers serve at the discretion of the building, but not, okay. I think that's redundant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Information, okay. Room parents, assist teachers with making copies and other projects, helping one-on-one with students, assisting class events, Lions Club vision, hearings for one-day event, assisting getting students to and from screen. School-specific events, parents need to assist in planning and implementing this special school events. Okay. Okay. Are there other things that, I mean, is this pretty much it?
Typically, they come and they help in the classroom doing the things room parents do. But then there are some parents who can't be there every week consistently, and they can come for special events. So
Okay.
that could be Christmas parties. I mean, I guess we could put class parties in there. I didn't put that under school specific events, but that's the biggest one probably is.
And then the chaperoning field trip or something.
Oh yes, that was another.
Chaperoning is a
That's another
biggie.
one that I don't have on there.
There's a lot of, I mean, that's one thing that parents have traditionally, they let the teacher know, but now they have to go through that whole process and be on that list, and that's been a hard.
Yep.
That's been a hard thing for parents.
Right. Well, the background check
to
takes
do the
weeks to come back, so they have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they have to plan ahead. They have to do the volunteer orientation prior to that to get that permission. I'm assuming that, like, with the Lions Club coming in, they're more visitors, slightly different category, correct? They don't have to do that, this whole background. We're assuming that their organization is taking care of that.
Prior to volunteering, all applicants must, at their own expense, be fingerprinted and sent to a background check. Because okay.
Well, it's the fingerprints that actually have to come first because we have to send the fingerprints to the state to get the background check done. So it does. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, but they have to consent to a
First.
background check before we can send their little fingerprints away. Okay.
If they're not going to consent, then there's no reason to do it.
There's no reason.
Right.
It's like in the process.
To complete this process. If there are any criminal behaviors that may be identified in your background check, please identify those below. Failure to disclose those will result in your application being denied.
She's asking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. if we took this part out. Wait, no. Remand. Is that what we say? Conviction or pending charges. Okay. So, okay. So does that sound like it covers what was on the other thing?
What page is it now?
What's that?
What pages is it now?
I think it's still two.
Still two. Keep it within the two.
Okay. So prior to volunteering, all applicants must, at their own expense. This is bolded, correct? Yeah.
So we'll just let them look at that.
Is there something wrong with this paper? Consent to a background check and baby. Please make an appointment at the district office to complete this process. Not a please. You must identify all prior criminal convictions and any pending charges below. Falsified information and a failure to disclose prior criminal background information will result in your application being denied. So this one, I'm going to italicize it.
Will those stand out more if we unbold that whole paragraph and just bold the part that you have italicized?
Oopsies. Oh, poop. There we go. Okay, so you want to unbold this part?
Yeah, it might just make it all stand, the parts, and then at their own expense, you had italicized and bolded before. I just think it stands out more.
It does. Okay, so then we can put in 3 little lines, date, signature. Thank you for taking the time to complete this application. Please add any additional information you would like us to consider in the space below. We are grateful for your willingness to assist the staff and participate in the education of our students.
So is there a need with all of the other things we've added for them to have an additional place for a space for additional information? I know that's specific to their criminal background, but
we could state, you may add supporting information regarding any prior, just to keep
I think what they're trying to get at, and that was on John Brown's, I think,
okay.
was that if there was information that you wanted the principal or the teacher to know about your skill set or your, that might help figure out where is the best placement for you is this is a good place to put it. Is I think what they were trying to get to.
Yeah, I would think you would add that in there.
I'm just wondering if it's necessary.
Maybe the additional information would be down here. Thank you for taking the time. If you have any additional information you'd like us to consider, provided in the space below.
Right, but is that necessary?
That's an invitation. I don't know. Maybe it might not be because it never says days of the week I'd like to. Times I can volunteer. Areas of interest.
Yeah,
It's really small, so maybe it's, if there's any additional information you'd like us to consider, please provide it below. And that way, if there's something else they really want to say, like, I had a herd of goats and I would love to do weaving with the kids or something. That's not really something you can fit in that little blanket.
But isn't that something that you could actually talk to the teacher about?
Yeah, you would.
Because it's not like we're comparing this I'm not comparing Michelle's application
right, it's
to
like
Maria's application.
because she's
saying,
got
oh my
something
gosh, she has so much more
on hers.
Yeah, I have to have Michelle.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I don't have time to have Maria.
And that would give you space to put this at the bottom. So it doesn't have page 3.
Yes. I was trying to get all of that. I was so official with the office.
Are you taking the principal name off of here?
No,
or
because
later. Okay.
yeah, so we can bring that up because I don't need that space anymore.
Because they've already.
It's supposed to be a kind of a letter from the building principal, so.
So a little narrative on it.
No, just the principal signature basically goes.
Oh, principal signature goes there.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this goes to the district office or to the principal. Meetings were related to it.
This document goes back to the school.
Okay. Okay.
I give this to the principal, and
then maybe here it would be principal signature rather than principal name.
Yep.
Signature of principal. However you want to phrase that.
Let's put this principal signature because they're gonna take that off and just actually put their signature on.
Just keep the closing paragraph to thank you for taking the time to complete this application. We're grateful for your willingness to assist the staff and participate in the education of our students.
Yep.
Just take out the other part.
Yep.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. So this is just the basic. We did that, and then this will be the background. So you might want to add a few more lines just for a bigger box. I don't know, but
We can probably build the box so that it expands.
That would be good.
Words.
That would be smart. Okay. All right. So that looks good.
Okay.
All right. So that's done.
Who's been doing our filigree forms?
It's done.
I'll share it with her.
There you go. And, oh, okay, so that was the Raptor cost.
And we did find out that our 2 middle schools are supposed to have the Raptor, and I think they actually have the unit, but they don't have any access to it, so we're working with Raptor to get the computer part so that they
Okay.
talk to each other, so we're working on that.
Oh, look, so we have past volunteer experience, references. Oh Lord, this is like heavy duty. I suppose we don't want to get like that. But it could be fun. Ooh, I like this. I have read the district's policy and procedure regarding volunteers. I fully understand the policy and procedure and agree to abide by them. I think that needs to be on the application.
So right above the signature, if you leave that up, I can type it, unless you're gonna copy.
Oh no,
and
I
paste
was
it.
just gonna pull up I don't have the application. No, you, okay, that's fine. Okay.
If you pull up,
There we are.
statement of understanding.
Oh yeah, and you need to put that I affirm thingy. Did you get that?
I affirm, what am I affirming?
Okay, why don't you put it back up there? We'll just copy and paste that over there. Can we do that?
Oh, but can you open the agenda or the document? Okay.
It just wasn't attached to the agenda.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let's see here. Oops.
Yeah, with that in there, you wouldn't have time for the additional comments.
Take it down.
That's gonna take up the rest of the room.
You never know. Okay, so if we go, we can play with it because I think that's a lot of words to get to the point to where we at. Here we are. Okay, it's required. I've read the district's policies. Let's take that out. Procedure. Wait, where's the thingy? There it is. So it's.
It was 4,600.
Is it 46? Thank you. And it's what volunteer assistance. I fully understand the policy and procedure, and agree to affirm that all of my responses are true, complete, correct, to the best of my knowledge, and are mad in good faith. Love it. In addition, I certify that I have reviewed the above criminal history information and respond truthfully. Take that out. I understand that all involvement with students is restricted to the approved school activities. In exchange for the benefit I receive from being allowed to volunteer.
Within the Homedale Joint School District.
Yes, I agree to indemnify them from any and all responsibility of liability. Okay, well, all right, I like that. I understand that all involvement with students is restricted to approved school activities. I don't know if I like this statement. Because I don't know if we make that very clear. I mean, we never say restricted on any of our papers. So that bothers me. In exchange for the benefit I receive. Let's just do this. I agree to indemnify.
That they may incur, as a result of volunteer.
The restricted sentence, I understand that my involvement with students will be only during approved school activities. Or
Any all responsibility of liability that may incur
may be
as a result of, that may be incurred.
Okay.
My involvement with students will be only during approved school activities.
Will adhere to school approved activities.
No, not here. So will be
I think it's because you have space up on that other line.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
and after then, because you're doing I understand.
Yeah.
I agree.
I fully understand as opposed to just understanding.
I understand most of it, except for the big words.
about that page pretty well, didn't it?
But it still can be two. Sweet.
Will you look at the, for office use only and make sure that what I put in there makes sense?
Principal review, date, raptor scan, date, additional background check. Why is that line there? Oh, maybe for yes.
Is it an
Okay.
additional background check?
That,
Or just the
it's
background
that,
check?
yeah, it's-
Date denied.
well, I wrote additional because of the raptor scan, but it probably should just say
Say,
background
Yeah,
check.
just the background.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So I have read, I understand, I affirm, I certify that I reviewed the above criminal history information and responded truthfully. I understand my involvement in students as on a volunteer basis as directed by the district. I agree to indemnify the district from any and all responsibility of liability that may be incurred as a result of my volunteering for the district. Okay, I like it. Is there anything else that we just missed? What is this?
So is this
Confidentiality. Code. Ooh, like codes. Nice.
Wouldn't that be part of the orientation training?
Well,
might
within
be.
their training, do we have them sign this? I think we should.
I think we
possibly.
should.
Yeah,
So we might need this.
that's part of your responsibility, isn't it?
It is nothing, but this is that, yeah, so,
Training.
do we want a 4600 F, F2 confidentiality? Or
Well, I
do we-
think if it's part of the orientation, then
we
it
don't
would
have to.
it wouldn't have to be out there on the thing
Yes,
because it's just
It's
part
part
of the orientation.
and that could be, do you wanna add that in under the orientation process that,
How is this one? Volunteer code of confidentiality. Community relations.
volunteers will be expected to sign? Do we wanna add that on that page that refers to the orientation
On the
training?
procedures.
Page 6.
Procedures. Back up.
6.
Well, and this won't be 6 pages. There's just
Yeah,
gaps.
I just realized there's 6 of 6 and then there's 7 of 6, which is not gonna work very well.
You know, there's a lot of big gaps.
There's a lot of scratch offs.
What was that document called? Confidentiality.
Code of
Code of confidentiality.
volunteer confidentiality, but the volunteer code of confidentiality.
So you can get rid of the. There's all of that.
Oh yeah.
All of that information will be included in the code. It's more like guidelines.
Okay. All right.
Is the handbook coming my way?
Yes. 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 We love those. Alright, so I think that we're good on that. Hearing, oh, good Lord. Okay. So, we have 8 minutes. I don't think we can get into this.
Develop the policy to review super.
Yes, please. Yeah, this has got way too many pages. And it looks like it was already. Huh.
That's
I
interesting.
don't know if we've ever had this one. I don't think we have. Huh. Oh, it says we have a current policy. Huh. So then why is that one all monkeyed up?
She was their policy person.
Right. No, I know that, but this is not.
And that's not how we normally get it. We usually get the clean version from them.
Huh. Prohibitions. Sounds like alcohol. Okay. Yeah, well, let's just not go there tonight. We've got so little time. And really, why do we have to? Yeah. Okay, so that's good. At least we're done with that.
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stop recording.